If you're an idiot who's sitting in your mother's basement and you've got your Cheeto stained underwear, and you think you're a big tough guy behind a computer and you're like this, you can't do that. And if you do, accept the consequences.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another one. How lucky are you? Do you have a glass of wine? Do you have a little bag of popcorn or a little bowl of popcorn? Get ready, because you're in for a treat. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my Irish cufflinks direct from Weir's in Dublin, Ireland. And I'm not paying Weir's, or they're not paying me. I just got these from my fiancée, and who's just a wonderful person, and I can't believe I'm even associated with her. But today we are reacting. This is a cold reaction. I don't even know what this is. This is from Wavy Web Surf. I have no idea. It's a cold reaction, and Robert thinks it'll be funny, and so I'll try to do you justice. But you got your white wine? Because I know most of my fans are snooty white wine drinkers. I know you're out there, right? But if you're not a snooty white wine drinker, if you drink beer or if you drink, just your energy drink because you're in my basement, Grandma, then I guess what you're going to do, you're going to call askalawyer.com. You're going to surf the web for askalawyer.com. You're going to find out that maybe you do have a claim against your grandson for some elder abuse. Or maybe you do have a claim against your grandson for some kind of poor living conditions. Or maybe you do have a claim against the government. Whatever your claim is, go to askalawyer.com. They're a sponsor of this program. They're just an incredible resource. You go to askalawyer.com, you get a live lawyer for $49. Where else can you get that? Nowhere. And so they also have AI trained on all the 50 states and the federal statutes. So if you're doing your own legal research, you can figure your own shit out. So askalawyer.com, same people that brought you eForms and eSign, very reputable outfit. So Grandma, go at it. Okay, I'm not even going to give you an introduction to this because I don't know what it is.
I'd like to introduce you to Sheriff Mike Chitwood. This is the cop at war with 4chan.
You'll hear the rhetoric, oh, it's free speech, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It's not.
By these clown group who want to shut my big mouth and put a bullet in the back of my head.
All right, nobody wants to put a bullet in your head, or at least I don't.
Go for it. I'm Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to Florida.
After being targeted...
Okay, I think I've seen this guy. I think, oh, you're the guy who wants to shoot me? Go ahead, give it a try.
Targeted by death threats posted to 4chan, Sheriff Chitwood made it his mission to shut down some of the site's most spiteful trolls, arresting 4chan users time after time after time again.
Here's the thing. We have free speech in this country. You can't yell, I want to fuck your mother in a crowd, or you can't yell, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't do that. You can't say, I want to kill you. You can't do that. If you're an idiot who's sitting in your mother's basement and you've got your Cheeto stained underwear because that's how you watch your porn while you're eating your Cheetos, and that's why your underwear is Cheeto stained, and you think you're a big tough guy behind a computer and you're like this, you can't do that. And if you do, accept the consequences.
And the arrests just keep coming.
He advised that he did make the post about wanting to shoot Chitwood online at this 4chan chat.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Who is Sheriff Mike Chitwood, and what unsavory acts were the 4chan users engaging in that started the war between him and 4chan in the first place? This is the story behind 4chan's most hated cop.
So what we're going to start doing Monday is, since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them.
Okay, tough guy.
Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid.
Born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Because I'm a tough guy, you see? Hey, forget about it. You talking to me? Are you talking to me? Because I'm going to raise your fucking kids, all right? I'm going to put them on a perp walk. I'm going to take your kids and I'm going to march them up and down the fucking street. I'm going to put a sandwich board on either side of their bodies. And guess what? Guess what? They're going to turn out to be just like you. Get out of your fucking trailer and get a job.
November 30th, 1963, Mike Chitwood is the son of a decorated police officer. As a teenager, Mike expressed that he had no desire to follow in the footsteps of his father professionally, but as he grew older, the man's sentiment apparently changed.
Got married at a young age, had a couple kids right away, and all of a sudden, the family business didn't look like such a bad way to have a living.
Yeah. Beginning his career in Philadelphia, Mike eventually moved to the Daytona, Florida area. The community there liked him so much, they voted him as sheriff of the city, and later, the entirety of Volusia County itself, which is what his current role is. Mike Chitwood, Volusia County's no-nonsense chief law enforcer.
You know, here's the thing. We need law enforcement. There's no question we need law enforcement. But some of these guys take this shit so fucking personally. You know, look at that Sheriff Grady. The reason we only shot him 60 times is because we ran out of bullets. Fucking calm the fuck down. You know, I like measured. I like professional. I suppose if somebody's threatening to kill you, that is personal. So I guess I don't mind that so much.
You know, I ended up being the police chief, which I never thought in the world would happen. Here I am now, about to take over as sheriff of a county the size of Rhode Island, a place that I love.
The man took an aggressive stance against criminals, calling them scumbags and calling...
That's so controversial. Taking a tough stance against criminals? I mean, come on, give him a third chance.
...crimes out publicly as a part of his scumbag of the week posts on social media. Not only that, he'd also criticize high-ranking local government officials if he felt like they were interfering with his ability to keep the community safe.
That's what you got is a bunch of evil people that are interested in one thing, and that's clinging to power. And that's a sad, sad thing.
Scumbags of the week. You know, here's the thing that, you know, you can have this persona and this tough guy image, and we're living kind of in it, what do you call it, toxic masculine, you know, whether it's Donald Trump or the Tate brothers or what's his name, Conor McGregor, who supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but did he do a line of the coke in the White House?
Irish immigrants in the U.S. without status. What do you think should happen?
I don't know, but when you're out there like this, you know, see these people that he's outing. These are not criminals. These are people who are just not going along with his program for whatever reason.
Mike wasn't the type to back down from anyone, no matter their rank or stature. He simply didn't tolerate nonsense.
It's difficult to manage the way that you're managing. Can't you tone it down a little bit?
If you don't like the fact that we're going to put sanctity of human life first and we're going to switch from a warrior mentality to a guardian mentality, then I think you need to go. Because the day of being a warrior and policing your community like you're a warrior, that's the past.
Sure, he caught plenty of flack and criticism at times, but no one could deny Mike's method.
I do like that message that the warrior or the guardian. You know, let's see what else he has to say.
Were effective, and his fierce dedication to shielding the people of Volusia County from criminals was admirable.
We have an idea of what happened, but we need a few more witnesses to get us to where we need to go to make an arrest.
And we soon find that this protection extended to threats of crime as well. This is where 4chan begins to come into the fold. When a hate group attempts to slither its rhetoric into the Daytona area, Mike Chitwood enters the arena, inadvertently kicking off a digital war that seeps into the real world.
And put a bullet in the back of my head. Go for it.
A brawl is surely brewing.
This battle all began when a mostly online anti-Semitic group known as the Goyim Defense League, or GDL, started targeting the Daytona, Florida area. This group was a collection of anti-Semitic neo-Nazis, conspiracy theorists, and edgy internet trolls that used the web and Chan sites like...
I think we should invite these guys over for dinner sometime, don't you think?
Like 4chan to mobilize. Their methods range from real-world threats to sillier pranks, such as tricking celebrities such as Brett Favre and even Soulja Boy to promote them on Cameo.
Brett Favre here with a shout out to the Handsome Truth and the GDL boys. You guys are patriots in my eyes. So keep waking them up and don't let the small get you down. Keep fighting too. And don't ever forget the USS Liberty and the men and women.
So is that AI? That has to be AI, don't you think? They paid him on Cameo? Oh, GDL, and he has no clue. Yeah, he doesn't know what GDL is. What a fucking idiot. I mean, does he need the money that bad?
Who died on that day. God bless and take care.
While somewhat silly on a surface level, members of this group harbor some serious hatred. The GDL is allegedly front-run by conspiracy theorist and reported neo-Nazi propagandist John Menadeo II, who is the owner of a shock jock-style streaming and video platform called the Goyim TV. Menadeo has been arrested numerous times, one such occurrence happening in Poland after he had been protesting against Jews outside of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp.
Don't you have anything fucking better to do? Honestly.
While wearing necklaces decorated with swastikas. Menadeo has labeled himself as, quote, the most famous anti-Semite in America on the internet. Throughout the early 2020s, the GDL had continuously attempted to gain a foothold in the state of Florida after Menadeo had moved to Florida from California in 2022. There had been a lot of resistance by state officials and the ADL to this move.
Didn't we fight the Nazis and didn't we beat the shit out of them and didn't we end Germany as Hitler knew it? And didn't we do that to our detriment in both blood and treasure? I mean, many men died, defeating Nazis.
With many displeased at his arrival. This would all come to a head when the GDL targeted the Daytona 500 NASCAR race on February 18th, 2023. An event taking place very much so in Mike Chitwood's jurisdiction.
Oh my God. Leave our country, go back to Israel. You know where you bomb Palestinian kids? Where we fund you stupid fucking Jews? $8 billion a year? You look like a horse. You look like a Jewish horse.
Okay. Gee, can I come to your house for dinner? I mean, I just want to hear some more wisdom.
Look at the horse face on this Jew.
The GDL would orchestrate their anti-Semitic attack on the NASCAR race, invading the Daytona 500 and deploying portable projectors that displayed hateful anti-Jewish messages right on the side of the Daytona International Speedway for everyone to see. The group also hit the greater city of Daytona and surrounding communities, planting anti-Semitic banners, and would travel to the local Jewish areas in Volusia County, leaving hateful flyers that said things like, quote, Henry Ford was right about the Jews, and Hitler was right. As soon as the acts became known to the public, Sheriff Mike Chitwood was already on top of things. He began working with the ADL to help identify those that were spotted in the area. Then Chitwood held a press conference, calling the GDL a bunch of scumbags and expressed the need to unify everyone in the county against them.
And the reason behind this press conference today is when you're trying to crush a radical group of cowardly scumbags, unity and sunshine destroy it.
Naturally, this approach put Mike right in the crosshairs of GDL members. Almost immediately, he started receiving death threats and getting, creepy anonymous messages sent to him. There were people saying they were going to stalk him or put something illegal on his computer. But Mike, in the face of all of this, he didn't flinch. He would specifically call out the GDL and their 4chan postings, notably where one called for someone to put a bullet in the back of his head.
They try to besmirch your character. They try to put death threats out on you and threaten you and your family. Well, I wear that as a badge of honor because I, too, by these clown group, want to shut my big mouth and put a bullet in the back of my head. Go for it. That's my message to you. Go for it. You want to...
I'm not a big fan of antagonizing people that want to kill me. And maybe that's the pacifist in me. And he's law enforcement. I'm not. I don't know. What do you think of that?
You want to try to get into my computer and plant child in there with a group of people that have an IQ of a 12? Go for it. I challenge you. Go for it. You want to put surveillance on me 24 hours? Go for it. And the best of all, you're going to dox me and make me unelectable? Go for it. I'm honored to be on your hit list.
Problem is, he's got to be right every time. They only have to be right one time.
It's an honor to be sought after by a bunch of punk thugs like you.
Also important to note, not only was Chitwood in full support of the local Jewish community here, during the press conference, he brought leaders of all religious denominations up on stage. In an effort to form a bond of unity, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and more showed up. Mike made a bold statement claiming they were going to stand together against hate and would not tolerate people like the GDL and their 4chan antics.
Well, I have to say, I do like his message.
All of this talk, somebody is sitting in their garage being indoctrinated who's going to be the next active shooter based on this, based on what they're putting out there. I don't think they got the guts to pull the trigger themselves, but they know there's somebody out there that will do their bidding. And that's why it's important to show the show of unity.
After this press conference, he'd take the fight to them in their home turf, the internet, making posts referring to the GDL as scumbag white supremacists.
Law enforcement is savvy, just so you know. We had a 3-week RICO trial, and all the social media that everybody was involved with was front and center. They played a video, an online video that somebody made, about gang life and all that shit. So when, you fight fire with fire. So if they're on the internet, you be on the internet.
Hearing more reports of scumbag white supremacists harassing people in our county, I want to make it clear tonight that the Goyim Defense League picked the wrong place to spread their hate. I will use every legal measure in my power to crush these anti-Semitic racist cowards. I hope they will keep their cameras rolling and get it all on video. We're going to send a message that Volusia County doesn't tolerate hate. By this point, Mike's name was blowing up across the internet, earning him a wild mix of infamy from corners of the internet he'd never heard of in his life. People online started digging into his past, trying to find dirt on the guy and ruin his reputation, unearthing old photos of him wearing bras and cross-dressing. Shocking at first glance, yes, but this was actually taken at a fundraising event for breast cancer. So Mike's get up here makes a lot more sense with context. Images and other content like this were thrown around like grenades in the brewing war between Chitwood, 4chan, and the GDL members who posted to the site. That's when the real crazies, the hardcore neo-Nazis, jumped in, doxing Mike, swatting his parents' house, and even harassing his daughter with phone calls saying that their dad was a pedophile.
I mean, somebody called my daughter, my middle daughter, and said to her, your father's a pedophile, we hacked into his computer, there's pictures of your kids with your father and all this other shit. And that my daughter calls me, Dad, what's going on? I said, babe, you don't have kids. So if you don't have kids, they don't know who you are. They got your number. Just don't answer the damn phone. But you want to do anonymously and go after somebody's family or go after somebody's parents. They swatted my parents a couple weeks ago. 3 o'clock in the morning, called and said 2 people were dead. I'm in here armed. I'm going to kill the first cop that comes up. Then I'm going to kill myself. And they gave my parents' address.
And Mike.
And guess what? We saw what happened when one of the rappers got swatted. He tried to run from the cops and he got fucking shot. It is very dangerous when they play this game.
Would in fact track down several GDL sympathizers and alleged 4chan hate speech posters. Now let's move into the next chapter of this story, which involves Mike actually slapping cuffs on some of these guys.
This match will get red hot.
Richard Golden. The first counter.
These are all guys in their mother's basement wearing fucking Cheeto-stained underwear. Every fucking one of them.
Attack would be against an anonymous 4chan user who wrote a death threat against Chitwood not long after his press conference addressing the GDL in Daytona. The post, quote, just shoot Chitwood in the head and he stops being a problem. They have to find a new guy to be the problem. The post says, but shooting Chitwood in the head solves an immediate problem permanently. Just shoot Chitwood in the head and murder him. In Minecraft. Chitwood would be
in Minecraft? Oh my God. Don't you have anything better to do? I just watched a show, Snowflake Mountain. Have you seen Snowflake Mountain? It's on Netflix. And it's about these 20-somethings who do nothing with their lives, who are absolutely just self-entitled. And, they go through this wilderness camp and they grow through this experience. Some people just fucking give up right away because they're just snowflakes. And that's what these people are. They got nothing better to do. They just sit at their computer, they isolate, and they become radicalized and they just become fucking morons. And they're tough guys behind a keyboard.
Advised about this in Minecraft threat on February 23rd, 2023. Less than a month after the threat was written, the 4chan user would be identified as 38-year-old Richard Golden of South Brunswick, New Jersey. And on March 14th of 2023, South Brunswick police officers approached the home of Richard's mother with a search warrant. On body cam footage.
What did I fucking tell you? Did I tell you he lived in his mother's basement? You goddamn right he did. And I'm not saying that they're not dangerous. You can live in your mother's basement and be dangerous. Remember when Trump got shot by that dumb shit kid who somehow climbed up on a roof, and I don't know how he was radicalized, but this 4chan stuff is real.
Footage, the 38-year-old's mom can be seen literally calling for Richard to come downstairs so he could be arrested.
Richard, turn off your computer and come on downstairs.
South Brunswick Police.
South Brunswick Police.
Yeah, come in. We'll talk to you down here.
Get a fucking haircut.
Come on down this way. How are you? How you doing? Go ahead.
Put your hands behind your back.
There's a warrant out of Volusia County, Florida, for the incident that
you can't threaten to kill somebody.
Yeah, I think I saw you there.
What you talked about, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And we also have a search warrant to search resident for electronic devices.
The reaction to this would be mixed, with some celebrating and making fun of Richard for his Discord moderator appearance. Exactly how you expect a 4chan user to look and exactly where you expect them to live. Many others would vehemently disagree with this arrest and say that Richard's freedom of speech was being infringed on, well as accusing Mike Chitwood of getting special treatment because he was a high-ranking officer. Can someone explain to me how this is a threat? He didn't say he was going to do anything. Regardless of what people thought of the situation, there was one thing that became crystal clear. This was the moment in Minecraft was ruled as an invalid legal defense if you wanted the shit talk on the internet. You can't say, I'm gonna kill you in Minecraft and get away with it. Richard?
You have a First Amendment right to free speech. You can even say, I hate Jews. You can say, whatever you want, pretty much. But there's a limit. I mean, it's free speech, but it's not unregulated free speech. You can regulate time, place, and manner, right? And you can regulate certain things when it starts to interfere with other people's safety.
Richard was charged with a felony count of writing a threat to kill. After the arrest, Chitwood took to Twitter to celebrate and held a press conference going over how Golden was caught. During the press conference, Mike said that he couldn't wait to meet Richard after the guy got off the plane from extradition. Chitwood would make good on his promise, confronting Mr. Golden at the airport when he arrived in Florida.
I'm Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to Florida.
Welcome to Florida. That taunting, I don't know, it doesn't help anybody.
Meeting with the 4chan troll, Mike would do a quick presser and express that there was no reason to be afraid of people like Richard, of course.
I wanted him to look in my eye and say, you're the guy I want to put a bullet in your head. You're the guy I want to shut up because of what you're doing standing up for the Jewish community. So be a man. I mean, he came down the escalator. He could have said something. He didn't say a word. Look at that coming down that escalator. That's what we need to be afraid of. That's what the keyboard commandos are. These warriors spending 20 hours a day on a keyboard in these extremist chat rooms, and then they want to threaten to put bullets in people's heads and don't think they're going to be held accountable. Well, we're going to hold you accountable.
On March 28th, Richard was charged with second-degree felony.
$100,000 bail. That's some real shit right there, Richard. Instead of sitting up in your room with mommy. I told you lived in mommy's house. I knew you lived in mommy's house.
Written threats to kill or do bodily injury, and was ordered to be held on a bail of $100,000. One 4chan detractor down, but Mike wasn't done yet. He had his sights on many more, and the crusade would continue. Tyler Meyer. At the time of the Richard Golden arrest, 30-year-old Tyler Meyer of San Diego, California also made a threat to 4chan, writing, "It's too bad Mike Chitwood isn't safe now that I'm planning to kill him. I'm going to shoot Mike Chitwood. I'm going to kill him by shooting him to death. Soon."
Okay, so these are called Stop Self-Snitching hats. You put shit on the internet. It's a permanent record. It's not going anywhere. And it's not going to be hard to prove that you engage in basically terroristic threats.
Soon, the FBI was able to trace the message to Tyler Meyer's residence where he lived with his mother.
What? You can't make it up. You know, I mean, living in his mommy's basement with Cheeto-stained underwear. Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. And in late March of 2023, the 4chan user was confronted. At first, Tyler was hesitant to admit that it was him, but eventually when shown the full image, Tyler came clean and was arrested on March 31st, 2023. During the execution of the search warrant, several guns, ammunition, and electronics were seized from Meyer's home.
Which isn't funny at all.
Meyer was charged with making a written threat to kill or injure, a second-degree felony, and he was held on a bond of $100,000. And just like Richard, Tyler was also extradited to Florida, where he would be met with Sheriff Mike Chitwood.
And in a related story, he's never been laid.
I'm Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Welcome to Volusia County, Florida.
According to court records, in May of 2023, Tyler was able to bond out of Volusia County, and he was released from jail. With 2 4chan trolls down, it appears a domino effect had been initiated, and more were likely to fall in Chitwood's campaign against these trolls. In fact, he told the media shortly after the previous arrest that there were at least 6 or 7 more investigations going on regarding other individuals posting to 4chan, and it wouldn't be long before another was exposed and arrested. Christian Zapata. 23-year-old Christian Zapata posted a threat to 4chan on April 7th of 2023, writing, "I will kill Chitwood, mark my words," unquote. The post was flagged by the Central Florida Intelligence Agency in order to conduct a further investigation. Authorities then traced the post to Zapata's sister's house, where she lived along with Christian, her fiance, and her 3-year-old son.
So these guys don't have independence. They don't have their independent means. They just sit there, and isolate, and they are tough guys on the computer. But like the other guy had guns and bullets and stuff, some of these slip through their cracks, and they're not just harmless.
When confronted, just like the others, Christian would fold and admitted to the authorities that he was the publisher of the post and even told them that he had heard about the recent events in Florida. The man also expressed his surprise at the others who had been arrested, saying that their statements were protected by the First Amendment.
No, they're not.
Officers interviewed Christian's sister. They claimed the woman said Christian often spent time in chat rooms talking to anonymous people. The contents of these discussions revolving around conspiracy theories and white supremacist ideologies. The cops also claimed the sister told them Christian had a deep fascination with Adolf Hitler and may have had a mental illness. Zapata was arrested on April.
Is that a surprise? I don't get what the fascination is with Hitler. I mean, Hitler was ruled for 12 years, said he was going to rule for 1,000, but he only got to 12, barely over a decade. And he just was this evil person. I just don't get it.
19th of 2023 by the Shelton Police Department and was charged with written threat to kill. As news hit the media regarding this case, Zapata's sister began singing a different tune towards the public, claiming that she was taken out of context by the police when giving her initial statements. She told media outlets that Christian wasn't in fact a white supremacist and is of Hispanic ancestry, but identifies as white due to also having European ancestry. She also said that he loved learning about other cultures, and most of the conspiracy theories involve things like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
She also tried to clarify that the Hitler comment was taken out of context. She said the man, quote, never ever in his life mentioned to me about Hitler or liking him, unquote. Once again, as I said to the officer, my brother is not part of any hate or white supremacist groups. He's not obsessed with Adolf Hitler. He has no Nazi views. He's just a kid who made a wrong decision. Law enforcement tricked me into making it seem like my brother is some sort of criminal. I had told the officer that Christian didn't suffer from a mental illness. Instead, that he was a strange, socially awkward kid. I repeat.
Who likes to threaten to kill cops? That sounds like somebody who's got the breeding grounds for a mental illness, at least.
Multiple times to the officer. Not once did they mention any of this would be used against us. It's just sad. My brother had heard about what's going on.
Just tell us everything we want to know, and we won't use it for anything. What the fuck? Okay, Dumb and Dumber.
Going on in Florida and believing in the First Amendment, he posted something he regretted instantly. He's a great kid with no record. In an affidavit, Christian Zapata denied being a part of any hate groups or owning any weapons. Later on May 4th, 2023, Zapata would be extradited to Florida and was charged with written threats to kill or do bodily harm. While many of these threats were issued within the United States, there was in fact one threat found that belonged to someone outside of the US, all the way up in Canada. But Sheriff Mike Chitwood's jurisdiction apparently is worldwide. Tony Stroberg. This particular individual had gone beyond 4chan postings, going to Twitter to make his threats, and even went as far as to send emails and make phone calls to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. In these emails, Tony went by the alias Condor Calabasas and would threaten to murder Mike Chitwood. In a follow-up email in March of 2023, Tony, aka Condor, would write that he was disappointed in the lack of attention he was receiving. He had made all of these threats that he claimed were much more credible than anyone else, and not one police car, let alone the FBI, had pulled up on him.
So he wants to get arrested. People want to be famous for this or that. Why don't you be famous for something that's good? I mean, how about save a child? Why don't you become a firefighter? Or why don't you get a cure for cancer going if you like to sit in front of a computer? And that's just too hard, isn't it? It just is.
But that would soon change. The authorities would track him down, revealing the man's real name as Tony Stroberg of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. On June 11th, 2023, Stroberg would be arrested and charged with uttering threats to cause death. This time, though, there would be no face-to-face with Mike Chitwood, due to Canada deciding to hold him there and avoid extradition. For the time being, he'll remain in Canada until facing charges in court. Ethan Russell. Now this one's a bit different. This wasn't a shit poster online or a white supremacist. This was more or less of just an insane individual with a personal grudge against Mike Chitwood. 22-year-old Ethan Russell of Deltona, Florida, had been in and out of trouble with the law since he was a teenager.
So Deltona, Florida, so he's, it's close. I mean, it's home turf. It's in Florida.
In March of 2019, he was arrested for cutting off his ankle monitor and attempting to burglarize a home. When officers arrested him, they found 7 knives on his person. On July 9th, 2019, while in jail, Russell handed one of the jail officers a note detailing his urge to join ISIS and bomb 7 locations.
Here's the deal. He's available for daycare in case anybody's looking to have somebody use him for, daycare. He's got references. Just go to, Al Jawari in somewhere in the Middle East.
Including the White House, the Pentagon, the Capitol Building, the Orlando International Airport, the Amway Center in Orlando, the Daytona Beach International.
Yeah, I'd go to the Amway Center. I mean, fucking, those people are suffering enough for trying to do multi-level marketing.
International Speedway, and the Volusia County Courthouse in DeLand. This wouldn't be his only threat. On November 8th, 2019, Russell would be caught making threats via mail that he planned on buying an Austrian sniper rifle after he got out of jail and taking that along with 20 propane.
In other words, I don't want to get out of jail. I want to stay here. So I'm about to get out, and I thought I'd write another threat.
Tanks, a blowtorch, and gasoline.
But little guys like this, I mean, look at him. He looks innocent. He looks pathetic. But guess what? These people can be fucking dangerous. Who is the Parkland shooter? He was just some weak little fucking shitbag kid. Who's the guy that shot at Trump? Some weak little shitbag kid. Who's the guy that shut that South Carolina church up? He's just some little shitbag. It's all fucking white people. Ugh.
To bomb the FBI building in Jacksonville. Then a few days later, on the 12th of that month, he sent another letter threatening to burn several high schools. For all of this, he pled no contest for 2 counts of written threats to kill/conduct a mass shooting. He was placed on 5 years probation and forced to undergo mental health evaluation. For all of these actions, Sheriff Mike Chitwood would condemn Ethan, calling him a monster, and this didn't sit well with the delinquent. After Russell found himself in jail again due to trespassing on a construction site where he had reportedly attempted suicide, he began to blame Sheriff Chitwood for his woes. And when he found out that the sheriff was in the news for the threats that he was getting, Russell decided to add his name to the list. In July of 2023, Russell would write a letter threatening to run Mike Chitwood over with the car. And if that didn't kill him, he also stated that he would beat him to death and burn his body with napalm.
Well, at least he's got goals. At least he's got kind of a direction in his life.
In the letter, he also threatened President Joe Biden and Governor Ron DeSantis. But Chitwood didn't take these threats very seriously. I'm aware of it. He wants to kill people, but he's just sitting in jail. He obviously has his problems. Russell would be charged on July 3rd, 2023 with threats to kill or do bodily harm to another person, threatening to discharge a destructive device by using a bomb, and written threats to carry out a mass shooting or terrorist act. So far, that's...
So I was starting out this whole video thinking that this guy, this sheriff, was kind of a nut job, right? That, you know, like that Sheriff Grady. We only shot him 60 times because we're running out of bullets, because we're tough guys. But I like the Guardian versus Warrior mentality. I do like that.
5 people, Chitwood.
Because, I mean, we're in a paramilitary state, really. I mean, something happens. Do you see a fucking armored vehicle coming with fucking gun turrets and, you know, armored personnel carrier? We never had that as we were growing up.
Had arrested. But I gotta say, I think the 6th might be the most interesting. You see, Chitwood's point of all of this was to prove that these people behind the computer screens issuing these threats were nothing to actually be afraid of. They were all a bunch of pussies, he thought. He believed they got all of their power from anonymity, and once you took the mask off, you revealed how truly pathetic these guys were. That being said, though, there was one of these threat issuers that may have actually been a lot more dangerous than those mentioned previously. An individual who was already in jail for an alleged double homicide. Joshua Wall. Joshua Wall of Dillingham, Alaska.
Another white guy living with his mommy. Fucking it. I mean, they just look so innocent, don't they?
Had been posting threats on 4chan since 2019. Many of these posts were anti-Semitic and included threats where he posted a photo of a bomb. He also posted videos of him and his friends using high-powered lasers as weapons to blind law enforcement. After Chitwood hit the news for taking a stand against anti-Semitism, Wall began threatening Mike Chitwood on 4chan in April of 2023. He also emailed Chitwood and included descriptions of the weapons that he owned and published videos of him burning photos of Chitwood with laser pointers.
This YouTube video, which is part of the evidence listed in the U.S. Attorney's Office indictment against Wall, shows him supposedly using a laser to burn a picture of Chitwood.
After Chitwood's press conference, Wall made threats on 4chan under the username LaserAnon, writing, "Until you get the balls to arrest me in real life, I'll still be here. Kill Chitwood in real life.
Okay. Don't need to ask me twice.
Shoot him in the fucking head with an overpressure 10mm round. Come and do something about it, Fed boys." And on March 31st, 2023, Wall allegedly emailed Chitwood stating, "I just wanted to thank you. Your toothless threats to arrest me for the last 3 weeks have woken me from my funk. Did you know that a laser like this can get hotter than the sun very fast? You have inspired me to continue my work. So now I'm sitting here, armed to the teeth with binary explosives, 37mm launchers, lasers that blind for life, in 1/15 of a second, an anti-level 4 tungsten tip ammo with weapons with binary triggers, and it's all because of your toothless threats towards me in the last 3 weeks."
So taunting law enforcement generally doesn't work. I mean, what do you want them to do? Why pick this battle? I don't understand why people do this.
Thank you for reigniting my passions. The threats continued until around July of 2023 when they suddenly just stopped. On September 25th, 2023, documents were unsealed that revealed that authorities were able to trace the threats back to Joshua Wall in Alaska, and he was indicted by a grand jury for the crimes of cyberstalking and transmitting threats in an interstate commerce. Regarding his threats against Chitwood, charges were 1 count of cyberstalking and 4 counts of transmitting threats in interstate commerce. However, extradition would not be possible at the time. It seemed authorities had figured out why these threats suddenly stopped in July, and that was because Wall was already in jail for being the suspect of an unrelated double murder. On August 19th, 2023, Wall had called the Alaska police after finding his 2 peers, 32-year-old Jennifer Gardner and 31-year-old Timothy Evans, both shot dead. But when authorities arrived, they found an interesting piece of evidence at the scene that pointed suspicion towards Josh. A green and black 9mm handgun with the word absolution carved into it. Wall had posted a video of that same gun to the internet, and authorities also found photos of him showcasing the gun on 4chan. With an obvious connection to what the officers believed was the murder weapon, Wall was arrested on first and second degree murder charges. Later, Josh's lawyer would claim that his defendant was at the store when the crime took place, and that the gun in question had actually belonged to one of the victims. But when Chitwood's investigation against Wall began, they found that the weapon Wall was using in videos to threaten Chitwood was the same exact weapon that was found on the site of the double murder.
The murder weapon is the same weapon that he was sending me pictures of, telling me what a crack shot he was, and I'll never hear it coming, and you better be looking over your shoulder.
At this time, Joshua Wall...
To what end is all this? Honestly. I mean, just to be a jerk? You know, be a tough guy because you like the battle?
Joshua Wall is still facing murder charges while he awaits trial, and after that he will have to face federal charges stemming from his threats against Sheriff Mike Chitwood. And with that arrest, Mike's war against the online hate space would cool down, but I don't think it's over for good. Aftermath. So what's happening with Mike Chitwood now? Mike continues to pursue criminals both online and offline, and it doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon. He'd continue to fight back against 4chan, posting publicly about groups that were threatening to infiltrate the Daytona area again. Lately, Mike's taken things to a whole new level, even going after an 11-year-old kid. This child threatened to shoot up his school, and Mike's not buying any excuses given from him or the parent, saying juvenile protections don't cover you when you're tossing around serious threats like this.
They don't. And I had a 13-year-old client one time threatened to, shoot up a school, and they executed a search warrant on dad's home, and they found 100 to 200 guns. I mean, just fucking guns everywhere in the house. And you got to take this stuff seriously, even though some of these guys are an absolute joke. Like the ones living in their mommy's basement. But you have to take them seriously.
Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to.
Is there any way civilly that I could sue those families to recoup the costs of...
Well, there might be. There might be. We've seen criminal liability for buying your kid a gun. And then all of a sudden, like that one kid in Michigan, he shot some people and mom and dad both got convicted and went to prison.
Of what their failure to be a good parent is all about. And that's what this comes down to.
Whatever the case, Mike Chitwood is still very much beloved by his community. To exemplify this, well, in November 2024, Chitwood won re-election to be sheriff in a landslide. I cannot tell you how humbled I am that over 82% of this county has put me back in office and gave us a vote of confidence as your sheriff and as an organization. The next 4 years are going to be supercharged. My passion and energy is to protect this community, fight for this community, and serve this community to the best of my ability. In February, Chitwood announced that he's working alongside President Donald Trump to implement illegal immigration crackdowns in the Daytona area. Chitwood continues to be aggressive, eccentric, and unafraid to speak his mind, and it's unlikely that his war against 4chan will be ending anytime soon. I'd be curious to know if some of you started off this video thinking the man overreacted for going after some of the posters who...
Yeah, I sort of did have that reaction, didn't you, kind of?
Commented about him online. After hearing what they said and their backgrounds, I'd be curious to know if you still feel the same way regarding Chitwood's actions here. Regardless, that was the story of Mike Chitwood and the war with 4chan.
That's our reaction to Wavy Web Surfer and Sheriff Chitwood. It kept sounding like he was saying shitwood. But anyway, when you're in law enforcement and people are targeting you for fucking no reason, I mean, there's no reason. They didn't have cases with him. He just became this target. I can see how he'd be a little personal with it, right? And if you're so dumb as to put your shit online, guess what? You self-snitched and you're going bye-bye. I'm going to tell you this. If you're isolated in your room, your hair's grown too long, all you're doing is online. Get your fucking ass outside, get a haircut, start intermingling, maybe even meet a lady. Wow, that's a concept. Meet a lady. Go out and get a job. Get life going. Build something. Build a life. Build your education. Build your future. Build your financial future. Build your relationships. This online radicalized bullshit is, I mean, you're online right now watching me. But I'm probably pro-social, and, you know, I'm giving you some tools to go out and get something done. You know, I mean, I just can't tell you how important it is to build. So we'll see you next time here in Criminally Reacts, why I build my financial future and build my relationship with my fiance and my daughter and everybody else that's in my life. And just be there for people. Don't do this shit. So we'll see you next time in Criminally Reacts. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon. If you're a paid member, you'll get one of these sent to you in the mail. And if you go to CLRBruceRivers.com, you'll get all the merch you need. We got plenty of it. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.